1982. Today, we begin with hymn number 60, Creator of the Stars of Night. Its tune name, Conditer Alme Siderum in Latin, is Plain Song, Mode 4. This anonymous hymn for Vespers and Advent dates from the 9th century or earlier. The translation by John Mason Neale from 1851 was substantially altered by the editors of the 1940 hymnal for literary reasons when the hymn was first included in that hymnal. The text received further revision for the current hymnal to update language and to produce a better correspondence between textual and musical stresses. Described as a readily accessible chant tune of great charm and simplicity, the chant melody associated with this text in the hymnal 1982 is nearly identical with that found in a 12th century Cistercian hymnary from Heiligenkreuz. This is hymn number 60, Creator of the Stars of Night. Sleeper's Wake. Its tune is Wachet auf. This combination of tune and text is one of the great classics of German religious song and appears in the hymnal 1982 with two distinct rhythmic forms. The text was written by Philipp Nicolai while he was the pastor at Unna in Westphalia during a terrible epidemic that raged from July 1597 to January 1598. During this time, more than 1,300 people died. His parsonage looked over the churchyard where burials were taking place daily, so it's not surprising that his thoughts should turn to the contemplation of the life to come. Numerous biblical allusions apparent in this hymn include the primary reference to the parable of the wise and foolish maidens found in Matthew 25, verses 1 through 13, as well as echoes of Revelation 19, verses 6 through 9, and 21, verse 21, Ezekiel 3, verse 17, and Isaiah 52, verse 8. The first English translation appeared in Lyra Davidica in London in 1708 and entered the Episcopal Hymnal in 1892. For the current hymnal, it was desired to have a fresher translation that conveyed more of the narrative and vigor of the original German text. In particular, it is once again clear that those who read or sing this text are being addressed by the call to watchfulness. This melody by Hans Sachs first appeared in 1599 and was adapted by Philipp Nicolai for the version found in hymn number 62. The more familiar tune, found in hymn 61, was arranged and harmonized by Johann Sebastian Bach and is often known as the King of Chorales. I will sing hymn number 61 in its entirety and play one verse of hymn number 62. This is Sleepers Wake.
Sleepers wake, a voice astounds us, the shout of rampart guard surrounds us. Awake, Jerusalem, arise. Midnight's peace, the cry has broken. Their urgent summons clearly spoken. The time has come, O pagans, rise. Rise up and give us light. The bridegroom is in sight. Alleluia. Your lamps prepare and hasten there, that you the wedding feast may share. Zion hears the watchmen singing, her heart with joyful hope is ringing. She wakes and hurries through the night. Forth he comes, a bridegroom glorious, in strength of grace, in truth victorious. Her star is risen, her light grows bright. Now come, most worthy Lord, God's Son incarnate Word. Alleluia. We follow and heed your call to come into the banquet hall. Lamb of God, the heavens adore you. Let saints and angels sing before you. As harps and cymbals swell the sound, 12 great pearls the city's portals. Through them we stream to join the immortals, as we with joy your throne surround. No eye has known the sight, no ear heard such delight. Alleluia. Therefore we sing to greet our King. Forever let our praises ring.
heavenly word, eternal light. This hymn appears twice in our hymnal, hymn number 63 and number 64. Hymn number 63's tune is Verbum Supernum Prodiens, Plain Song Mode 2. And hymn 64's tune is O Heiland Reis. The text, found in a 10th century manuscript and in several later sources, is an anonymous Advent hymn assigned in the Roman use to the Office of Readings for Advent. The current translation from the Latin is based on that of the editors of Hymns Ancient and Modern from 1861, with considerable alterations. The first tune, the plain chant tune, is a version of a chant drawn from a 12th century manuscript used at the Cathedral of Saint-Cyr in France. It is identical with the Sarum form of the melody found in one of the earliest known printed music editions of Sarum hymns in 1518. The final note of the chant, however, does not correspond to any of the sanctioned schemes of modal theory of the time, and so it is suggested that perhaps a non-liturgical melody or popular song was the original form of this tune. For hymn 64, the tune is a folk song-like melody by Friedrich von Spee, which first appeared in a German Catholic hymnal in 1666. It has since made its way into Lutheran and Reformed hymnals, as well as the hymnal 1982. I will sing verses 1 and 5 of the plain song melody, and then I will do all verses of hymn number 64. This is O Heavenly Word, Eternal Light, hymns number 63 and 64.
O heavenly word, eternal light, begotten of our Father's might, who in these latter days wast
Prepare the way, O Zion. Its tune is Berre den Weg for Herren. This hymn by Franz Michael Franzen is one of the great Advent hymns of the Church of Sweden. First published in 1812, the text is built on Isaiah 40, verses 3 through 5, and the narrative of Jesus' entry into Jerusalem in Matthew 21. The hymn was imported into the United States through the Lutheran Service Book and Hymnal of 1958. The first melody appeared in 1693-94, and like so many other hymn tunes, it was transformed in the 19th century to an isometric form with even measures. It regained its former rhythmic shape, however, in the Swedish hymn book of 1921, and that is the identical tune we have in Hymnal 1982. This is hymn number 65, Prepare the Way, O Zion.
Prepare the way, O Zion, your Christ is strong.